Hey guys, this is DFD, aka Dark Frozen Depths, back with another Kamihime Project event video. Now, before I get started on this, there's a few things I gotta mention. Those of you that are waiting for Water Cybele, she's here now, and you'll quickly notice that the gacha's been changed. I've actually been in game after the maintenance, and there's now, they section off the gacha a little bit. There's like specific deals they had. There's special ones that'll last for a while, and then there's the basic stuff like the premium pool and the gem pool. The pickup stuff seems to be the ones that people quickly use if they're going for any specific thing like magic jewels or something like that. Otherwise, you'll probably be in the other section, the third one. But they did refill the SSR guarantee, so those are back. Miracle Ticket's still there if you guys haven't gotten it yet, like me. There's an accessory gacha for water as well, so that's also with those three. On the pickup stuff, there's the rate up for the characters and all that, and also the new Cybele gacha as well. But second thing, before anybody comments this, because I've been getting a lot of comments, if I record from my computer, I get better quality when trying to do these because you're looking at an actual internet page instead of a really scrunched phone screen. But my microphone is indeed worse because I somehow get a better phone microphone than from my computer. Now, there are a few ways I can go around this. However, it would make things a little bit worse, or I'm just incapable of doing it right now because I don't have a legit microphone or anything to use for that for the time being. So that's just how it is. So I already know about this, guys, and I've been asked multiple times, and I'm honestly getting kind of tired of explaining it because it's been about 4 videos when that's happened on. But yes, that's the whole reason behind all this. I have to record from my computer just to give you a better image quality. Otherwise, you're going to be getting a worse image quality. And if it's a game like Kamihime Project where I have to play off of a phone that can't flip on its side, then you're going to see an even worse picture. So you're going to see like 2/3 of the screen not even getting used, and it's harder to look at things. So I chose better image quality over better sound quality. You can still hear me, so that's why I went for that. And also, the tower event's still ongoing, so remember to keep doing your runs for that because tower events don't come that often, so you might want to make the most of it. Personally, I'm going to start aiming for the bricks more because I'm trying to get my weapon grids built up. I'm not more so going for gacha pools anymore because gacha pools aren't giving me that much luck to begin with anyways when I use the tickets and all that. And even then, sure, I could get tons of pools. I'd say average anywhere between 12,000 to 15,000 tower coins an event now. But at the same time, I'm feeling like the bricks are going to be a lot better because I've gotten my white team pretty up there. So yeah, that's enough of the sad crap for this. We're finally getting into the main thing. So first and foremost, do you like assault weapons? If you do, this event's not for you. I'm stopping you right there because I've seen what the weapons give. This event is hard on Exceed. You will see why. So there are practically little to no assault weapons in this event. I'm saying that right now. The only assault weapon I know of is an SR one, and it's going to come up as a medium one. If you're really that desperate for a medium assault, you can probably just go farm off of the disasters and catastrophe fights. So I'm saying this right now. This is not for people looking for assault. You can easily get assault somewhere else. If you are looking for Exceed and nothing to go with it, then I guess this is for you. But we'll go into more details. Now, I've heard the boss theme for this fight too. It's actually pretty good. I actually like it. It's one of my favorite soundtracks. But this is an advent event, so you're on your own. You don't get help from any outside players. So if you're not strong enough, you just got to simply build yourself to be a little bit more stronger. That's all I can really say for that one. It's not too hard to get to the point of clearing ultimate though. So simply put, if you can level up some Kamihime and then get your grid pretty up there, I would say like roughly 40-50% assault, then you should be good to go. But oh, and just for the record, 40% assault can easily be done off of 4 SR weapons. So if you can cap those, you've gotten 50% assault, actually, 52% to be exact. So it's not that hard to get into ultimate if you know what you're doing, but it's still going to take a while because you gotta do gacha pulls and level weapons and all that. But anyways, this is where you have to ignore the basics on this thing because there's so much stuff that's picky. There's so much stuff in this that's kind of picky. So it's more or less do what you feel is good for you. The thing that you probably should absolutely get maybe is the fire Adon because of some of her effects. I'm probably going to keep a few of her too myself. I don't feel like selling her this time around. But I don't know how to pronounce her name. Marchosias or something like that. It's weird. But hey, she's a wolf girl too, so I kind of want to keep her. I have a thing for wolf and fox girls. But the weapons. The first one, which is the cheaper one, is Exceed only. Exceed only. If this event gets a rerun, then maybe it might get a final break and hopefully get something to go with it, like maybe Assault. But as far as it stands right now, it doesn't seem like it's too much worth it. If you are looking for more burst power, then maybe. But personally, I feel like if you're looking for more burst power, you're better off getting Exceed with Assault or with Pride. Pride also counts as Assault. Hell, even if it had Vigor with that Exceed, it'd still be pretty good. So, given that it's Exceed alone, it's very, very iffy. That's just my opinion. But the second one might actually have a little bit more use. Because it is a medium Exceed with a medium Defender. This can kill 2 birds with 1 stone that fire does tend to need. More HP and more burst power. Because fire already has a nice amount of Kamihime that can deal some serious damage. But unless there's some like Uriel, then you're probably not going to get too much in the burst department. So Exceed is kind of needed for fire. But anybody going for the most damage possible will be going for Exceed anyways. Usually Exceed with Assault, Pride, or Vigor. And Defender definitely kills another bird because it's like fire can indeed get some decent HP amounts. I've managed to get my fire team to weasel its way into the 10,000 mark pretty nicely. But you do need some defenders for that. So here you go for that. And what's not mentioned here is the fact that the SR weapons, I know there's another Exceed, it's medium alone. And then there's an Assault that's medium, so it's very picky on the weapons. And of course there's Ragnarok fights. I've already had previous materials, so I managed to get the Dragonic Eye Shard already. So there's that. And Ragnarok can take a little bit of preparation for, but quite frankly, I don't think you need to be too much stronger than Ultimate in order to deal with Ragnarok at this point, because as far as I can tell, the Advent events aren't getting that much harder. The ones that are actually the raid events, because the HP values are starting to skyrocket on those. But when it comes to Ragnarok, you definitely do have to do them if you want some stuff like Final Break weapons or more Dragonic Eye Shards, stuff like that. Now, they also give you the reward items for each one. You're guaranteed a platinum chest on Ragnarok because, well, they call them rainbow ones here. But you're guaranteed one of those chests because it'll give you one of the core pieces. But I have indeed gotten 2 cores in one fight. Because a second rainbow chest can appear and that can give you a core, one of the event weapons, or the event Adolin. So, there's that too. If you see a rainbow chest appear, you know it's one of those. If you see a second one appear on Ragnarok, then it could be one of those or core. But getting into the main thing, they don't give you too much info on the lower fights. Expert's one where people will tend to grind if they can't do ultimate, because you can still get a decent amount of stuff here. But it has a weird mechanic where it can strengthen its own burst. So what I'm guessing is it will increase the damage it does with its normal or raging burst, one of the two, if not both. So that's what I'm reading from this right here. But the normal one is 3 random hits, and the raging one is just hits everybody. It's this trigger I'm wondering about because I think based on the charge turn counts it has, it will boost its damage by the looks of it, but this isn't exactly clear on that. But between the difficulties, it just does more and more and more. So there's that too. Now, they got better details about this boss right here. It says there's many charge turns, but they can be accumulated in a special action. So what it's saying is this: it will fill up its charge turns. That's what it's talking about. Or it will fill up its damage. So for the most part, it says if you do something wrong here, it can burst within 2 turns, even though it has a 5-turn cooldown. So yeah. And it says its resistance to status effects isn't that bad. So you can get your attack downs, your defense downs, if you're into those sort of things that damage over times. But quite frankly, the abilities that tend to matter the most would probably be something like blind, especially dizzy if it works, because it will just skip a turn. Especially if you are going that route, you can get a stun in there, as in like an actual paralyze, so she can't do anything. I think one of the fire Kamihime are capable of doing it. I just forgot which one. I think it was Prometheus that could do it. But the reason I'm mentioning that is because one of the missions later on, you'll see. But it's given what it's saying right here. It says if it's a burst buff, the charge turn is not max, an attack normally will be made. So it's suggesting you use chaos magic by the looks of this. That's pretty much what I'm getting from that. Of course, I might update this a little bit later in order to get the better info, but for the most part, it seems like the boss itself is focused on burst, kind of using most players' methods against it. So that's the thing with that. So it's suggesting chaos magic. And then black propaganda would make this a hell of a lot more, because you can increase the turn maximum. But from what it's saying, it seems like you can actually get she buffs you when that happens. See, it's saying so many different random things right here. This is why Google Translate ain't that helpful. All I know is this is definitely guaranteed around burst. That's the absolute thing. It's definitely guaranteed around burst. I don't know if it's helping yours or its. And it seems like it can fill up its own charge turns, so yeah. But we'll get to what the Eidolon does. We'll get to better stuff with these. But main thing I'm probably going to be aiming for, maybe some more books, because we want to start needing these. I'm definitely getting the gacha tickets. I'm probably going to be aiming for the magic jewels. I don't care too much about the soul points, because while it would speed up the mastery point thing, grinding out Sunday quests and all that can still do a lot. So there's that. And I've already got the Dragonic Eye Shards. But yeah, this is the main thing about these Eidolons. When you have Marchosias and you summon her, a whole team gets a burst performance increase. So what that is a burst buff when you summon her. That's the reason why you might actually want to keep her, because a lot of people are hard on Exceed. And then using her as a main isn't too bad if you have elemental advantage. But other than that, I wouldn't really do it too much, because it's a fire attack increase and a burst gauge up increase. Well, no, it's a fire character, as in, like, actual assault. So, that said, It's pretty much 30% assault towards your fire team, and then instead of getting like 10 burst gauge per hit, you're getting 12. Although it might increase the damage, the burst gauge you get from taking damage by 20% as well. But the attack power on this Adon isn't too bad, and the HP isn't too bad either. It's still worth keeping. Mainly because that summoning effect, you would easily put it in a sub slot. I'm not too sure about the main one. Now, like I said, this Exceed weapon would be very good if it had something else with it. Anything else, to be quite honest. Like, it wouldn't even matter if it was elaborate or anything. It would still give it a little bit more work because it'd be 2 skills. But because it's just straight Exceed and nothing more, people might be a little bit picky on this one. This one's actually the better of the two, but it's more expensive. It's even better stat-wise, too, because it gets more overall stats. Not to mention, it's an axe. You're more likely to use the axe setup than the magic tool setup if you have a phantom weapon. Because there's not too many magic tools you can make use out of stuff unless you went into the SR category. Speaking of, usually these events come with a double effect SR weapon. This one did not. So that kind of made these a little bit pointless, because if you're going burst performance medium, you might as well get the large, making this a moot point. And then this is also a moot point here, because you can get that from pretty much any fire rate that's permanently in the game. So, unless you're going for specific phantom weapon setups, I wouldn't even bother with any of these 4. And if you are going to bother with one, I would go with this SR weapon because it comes with 2 effects. So this Adon's your main target, period. Now, here's your missions. It's the same typical stuff, but the reason why I mentioned that fire thing is because of the simple fact that here's the thing. Of course, you're clearing stuff out on Elixir and with certain Kamihime rarities. This says use light attribute to clear ultimate. In game, it's actually fire. I've already checked. So, this is wrong. I'm still good to myself either way because my fire and my light team happen to be my 2 strongest teams. But that's something to know. But I do think Prometheus does come with a stun effect. So if you aren't doing the R rarity thing, you can probably, paralyze. So if you aren't doing the R rarity thing, I think you can actually get a paralyzed Kamihime in there. So yeah. But me personally, I'm going with a Fire R team just to show off how good they actually can be. But Marchosias is the main reason why you're even going after this event. I could say that without a doubt. If you're going for anything that's new in the event, that's the main reason. Otherwise, you're going for some of the sad crap we've seen before, like the Draconic Eye Shards, the Magic Gems, maybe the Soul Points. Definitely the Gacha tickets because it's free pools, especially since you might want to go for the raid Gacha tickets too, because there's actually a decent amount of raid Kamihime as well. Plus, with the current tower we have, if you do not, for some reason, have the Win Yamaraja, then you can still pull her. Because she's actually needed for one of the tower missions. It's defensive characters. So, yeah, she's actually in the raid Gacha. She's a win defensive character, so that will help you out towards that if you're doing the missions. Can't guarantee she'll pop up, but there's only those SR Kamihime in there, so it's pretty much like, it's like an even chance among each one, but the more raid events pop past, the more these are going to be, so it's probably extended past a good 12, maybe 13 characters in there now. And I honestly don't go out of my way for these half elixirs anymore because I tend to get quite a lot of them just from Gem Gacha. I mean, it could have more. True. I just don't bother too much. But, anyways, for the most part, this is what this event's really looking towards. Can't really say or do too much with that one. But one more thing I have to mention, too, because this has been discussed on my Discord before. I will leave a link to that Discord as well, in case people are wondering, because there's still more people that can jump in, and this ain't the only game that I also play, so you can chat other games on Discord as well. But the main thing I gotta mention about Kamihime Project, there's been times before where I've actually been called, where my team's actually been called kind of weak. because it's not hitting a certain amount of burst damage or whatever. Now, granted, I don't crack 10 million burst damage with any team. I'm getting kind of close on both fire and light, but that's because I don't go for exceed. Reason why is because I went for the basics. I went for assault and defender dual weapons. I do have a few that got other effects, like I did manage to sneak a pride in there because of Shimasa's book since it has 3 effects. I got an ascension one because I used to have a light weapon that only gave assault. I replaced it with the assault ascension weapon that came from the Orichalcon from the Go missions. I pretty much chose that because I wanted to cover the bases right there. Now, I will start replacing these weapons with triple effect stuff later down the line. Fire is a totally different story because I took whatever assault I can get out of it and tried to sneak some defender in there. But, simply put, that doesn't necessarily make my teams weak. Granted, my fire team could be stronger because it's only hovering around like 50,000 total attack power, but that's because I didn't really give them any accessories. So that's something to know. All my accessories got pretty much fed to my light team in order to try to level their stuff up. But at the same time, they still do some very good damage with the right setup. They can actually do 1 million in a round of normal attacks. That also extends to light, and it doesn't even matter if they're off element or not. The only exception is if fire is attacking water. But that's the whole thing. There's multiple ways to get strong in this game. That's the biggest point I'm trying to get out of here. If you want to go for these exceed weapons right here, do so. Me personally, I don't see too much worth in one of them because of the fact that it doesn't come with another effect. We have so many dual effect weapons in the game, single effect is very hard to try and push for. But at the same time, if you can find some use out of it, go for it. But that's the main thing I'm trying to get across. There's multiple ways to get stronger, so burst damage really isn't everything. But if you can find some way of helping out with it, be my guest. Because with how strong the players have gotten on the DMM side, at least the top players, they're hitting soft damage caps, and if not those, some multiplier caps even. Because Ascension has a multiplier limit, Exceed has a multiplier limit, Elaborate could have one, but we don't really know for sure because not too many go towards that direction. But even outside the multiplier limits, they are hitting the soft caps definitely, because there's a soft cap on normal hit damage around 350,000 per normal hit. And with Stinger in effect with their weapon grids and whatnot, they can indeed hit these caps. Me personally, I'm starting to see more Kamihime do six-digit damage in normal hits, and that's like 1/3 of the cap right there. So, that said, there's multiple ways to get stronger. There really is. But if you are trying to do the absolute maximum damage possible, you will need to make the most out of not just assault and exceed and all that type of stuff, but other sources as well. You're going to have to get elemental attack from a soul weapon. You might have to get buffs for vigor or stinger. You may possibly have to go towards special attack, which is done by specific Eidolons, but there's certain ways that you have to go about it. If you're trying to crank out as much damage as possible, you need to make the most out of everything, not just burst damage, not just assault. There's definitely multiple ways to get stronger, guys. So that said, as much as I do these videos where it's like, I can give some ideas and strategies and whatnot, it's not the strategy to go for. That's the one thing I absolutely want to clear up. So that's the main reason why I do these type of videos. So if you still feel like this large exceed weapon's worth it, go for it. Quite frankly, I feel like you should aim for assault along with exceed. And some people might actually have final break weapons too, so that can sacrifice a little bit of assault towards exceed. I can probably do that with my fire team. They're packing about 150% assault. I can do that with my light team too, because they're about that same point. They will both absolutely pass that point when pride really starts kicking in. But that's the whole thing. Unless you've actually gotten that far, who knows? And then when you're a starting player, you might not want to be picky about this anyway. You might have a whole bunch of SR weapons that got assault. If you have 10 of those, you have 130% assault. Unless they come with 2 effects, in which case it'll be a little bit lower. Giving one of those up for a SSR Exceed might help you out, maybe 2 of them. But the biggest thing is be able to clear the content. That's the main thing that matters, because quite frankly, despite what anybody says, if you can't clear the content, you have a problem. It's the same case of why I said that for this event. If you're not able to clear Ultimate, clear Expert. If you're not able to clear Expert, you might want to get stronger. But quite frankly, you still want to be able to do Ragnarok for these. That's the main target for Advent events. If you want to go stronger than that, then be my guest. Especially since there's harder content in the game anyways. But that's the main reason why I had to say all this type of stuff, because it seems like a lot of people have lost focus on that one point. The fact that you need to be able to clear the content. Am I saying not to get stronger? No. Because if anybody's seen one of my previous videos, I managed to clear an expert raid on a raid event alone with just my soul. No Kamihime. That is one character taking out 7 million HP. You have to be stupidly strong to do that one. But what I'm trying to get across is the fact that be as strong as you want to be after you're capable of clearing content. That's all I have to say for that one. So you can still disagree or whatever about what weapons or add-ons to get, but the one thing we all should unanimously agree on is that you should be able to at least clear Ragnarok on this. You should be able to clear every single fight that isn't a raid battle at some point. And that's also going to extend to different stuff too, because we will eventually get accessory quest rank 6 and eventually rank 7. But that's all for this, guys. More of this is definitely coming soon, because I have to go record the event video for this event. And then on top of that too, I'm also still going to have to record tower videos as well. Because when I'm done recording this, I'm going to jump into tower, start recording that, and actually get the next 6 floors in. Because I have 6 keys now, and it's going to push me to the 10th floor. But that's definitely it for this. More of this is going to come soon. I'm going to leave my Discord in the description, so check that out. Jump in, join us. You'll find other players that can give you some help or some strategies as well. There's some people in there, even one mod that I have that actually gets a lot of info about future stuff, so it's a very big source on stuff as well. And then on top of that too, I've also got a section where you can even advertise your union or whatnot if you want people to join yours. I'll even have it for friends as well, so if you want somebody to jump your friend list too. But anyways, that's all for this, guys. More of this stuff is going to come soon, and take care.